You're watching Drakewing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Hey guys and gals, Derry here from Drakewing Gaming. It's something to me on Twitter, The Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Sparks. Anyway, y'all, before we jump into it, just wanted to let y'all know that our Patreon is now up for as little as $5. Y'all can help support the channel, get some awesome rewards like permanent access to our community Discord server and full access to upcoming Not Safe for Work videos. Anyway, y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back in. Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. Alright. Sorry. He quickly slipped inside, closing the tense entry behind him to keep the incident from repeating. In his head, Zhangken was already going over the rejection he'd experienced in a few moments. Before getting lost in thoughts, he figured he might as well help out in the situation. He took a few calming breaths and then snapped his fingers to reignite the flames. Zhangken focused on their location with his one eye and kept the flames he had stored recently in his mind. But after the gesture, nothing happened. Huh? He snapped again with the same result. With a raised brow, Zhangken checked on the ring on his right hand's middle finger. The white ink was still enough for multiple sparks, so the lack of results startled him more than he expected. Had he run out of saved flame? Books say that a redistributor can feel and touch an element or object that they had stored, but Zhangken never really had a feel for it. Teeyar came into the room with a cloth which he rubbed over his cheeks and arms, watching Zhangken snap still. Oh, nervous! Tally. My father also had a tick whenever something was stressing him out, though he kept rubbing his hands or elbow. It took a moment for Zhangken to process the question until he shook his head. No, it said that somehow I can't use my spark. A tough luck. Can't always rely on those things anyways. Zhangken didn't enjoy the hostile tone in his voice and felt a certain hate come from the man. He pushed the feeling away as Teeyar put away what Zhangken assumed to be a towel and produced a cylindrical device in turn. He gave it a flick with his finger and the top opened up, though in the gloom Zhangken couldn't make out much more. The light metal sounds indicated some kind of button he pressed multiple times, followed by a frustrated groan. After a few more moments, a tiny flame shot forth from it, lending the tent some more brightness. The moon had already risen in a carasphere to green light graced the lands, but the warm firelights was still a welcome sight. Teeyar made a small tour through his tent, lighting up the torches and candles. Fascinating, isn't it? She works with a simple system of creating a firelight spark that then ignites a quick burst of naturally inflammatory gases that are stored inside the sodite. He let go of the top of the device that, as Zhangken can now recognize, seemed like some sort of a lid with a hinge attached to it. Once he let go, the flame on top was killed by the lack of oxygen he assumed. The sight reminded Zhangken of how he made fire disappear himself when absorbing it. With a simple clicking noise, the device got activated once more, and a small stream of fire lit up the final candle that was located on a desk centered in the tent. Blessed inventions like this. I feel like after 200 years we are due for some more, noticeable change. Zhangken nodded, still fascinated by the device. The spark must be lit at the same time as the gases emitted, or else it would simply be wasted. Yes, the marvels of the old world are an enigma to us, and we have not made any progress. At least we are finally getting a waterworks. The ancient civilizations apparently had them even without any magical help. Second now. Water time. Alrighty. Fresh coffee. Good thing then. Us Martians can share some of the inventions with this world. You are going over there. Stupid pillow. Okay. Alright. Otherwise, everyone would always have to rely on those cursed sparks. I tell you, we're only held back by our own over-reliance on them. Is that truly what you think, or are you simply bitter that you can't command one yourself? What was that? You don't have a spark and are likely envious of those that have discovered theirs, correct? So you blame your own woes on those that have what you don't. Damn, dude, you don't have to fucking be like that. It's a simple concept. Perhaps, but I blame less my woes and more of those of the world. What would it be if we could realize bigger dreams? Produce more and faster? Bring all to the people around the world. I would say you'd be sitting in a palace commanding people to sell where and when you want. I dare you assume I would sit idly by while the world is to be revolutionized. No, rather than raking in the profits, I would forever travel the world in search of innovation, and where they are needed. Big words for one that took a profession in which profits mean everything. What else am I to work? There is no other work as popularized by people like me than this. Yet my history professor has no spark either, and is likely the most famous one in his field. Perhaps you should see more paths than the narrow ones you're treading on. You know, I was meaning to offer you my towel to dry off after the rain, but perhaps I will let you sog a little. It seems like you packed your own. Smarter than I thought. Zhangken looked down on himself and noticed only now that the horrible feeling of wetness was gone. That's still a fortunate twist of fate, though. Didn't want the nice chairs to be water-stained. Stuff like this I only borrow from the authorities. It's such a pain to either deconstruct them and build them up every month or find a place to store them. Huh? Zhangken followed up on the thought and reached to the very spot on himself that he had clearly felt water on before. I think the concept shouldn't be too hard for you to grasp. I don't enjoy hiring people to help me with my wares in the wagon, so... Zhangken blanked out the rest of Teeyar's lengthy recitation of workers' rights and proper payment while his thoughts couldn't get away from his current state. Didn't he just wander through the rain? Yet he felt down on himself and noticed that there was indeed no moisture left, either in his clothes or his fur. Did the warmth of the tent just dry him up? Since it doesn't seem to be your topic of choice, would you like to actually talk business then? The aforementioned chair should be more on your side. Please bring it to the table and take a seat. Upon sitting down, Zhangken noticed that the chair and table were simply likely reshaped from blocks of wood. So the merchant had a hatred for sparks, but couldn't deny the fact they were useful after all. Hypocrite. First things first. You desire to travel with me, correct? Yes, I need a way to get me and my professor to a location near the border to the capital's dominion as quickly as possible. You say that is what you need. Correct, yes, that is what I said. What then do you expect me to give you in exchange for the price of the charge? A carriage, the necessary animals to pull it, and perhaps a map as well. The merchant grabbed the feather on his hat, dabbed it into a small inkhorn, and started writing on a sheet of parchment. Smart. See, if I just sold you whatever you listed, your little expedition would be doomed to fail. Zhangken gasped but couldn't ask him in return. Do you really think this little ahead? Why do you think can the two of you survive on air and water? If you're going exploring ruins, can you see in the dark? There you go. Yep, this guy is a very smart merchant. If you find anything useful, can you just store it in your little bag? The answer is obviously no. So I want to offer you all that you need. Let me list everything, assuming a, let's say, trip of 3 weeks. 3? Why 3? 1 week to get there, including rest days, 1 week for exploration, 1 to get back. If the path from here to your destination is clearly charted, you might get there even quicker. That's amazing foresight. I didn't even think that you'd need all that. Yes, it is very much my profession to discern between those desires on the surface and what is actually necessary for you. You should be happy I am still doing this despite your insults. I think his mood fell flat as he realized why the merchant was still putting up with him. Those gems sure served as an amazing motivator for greedy little shites that lied through their teeth. Despite doubting the man's sincerity, he was also his last hope, so he had to trust in venture yielding positive results. The following moment felt like an eternity. Teeyar was writing on a long piece of parchment, the scratching noise filling the air together with rain falling against the tent's fabric. Zhangken focused on a flickering flame that provided light on the table, watching the wax melt away droplet by droplet. He could measure exactly when the next drop would fall. My guess is that maybe he absorbs elements. Interesting. Yeah, it's interesting that he's not wet anymore, unless the rain isn't real, which is a troubling thought. He could measure exactly when the next drop would fall. Candles, after all, had to obey the sovereign's absolute order as well. Just as the fluid wax began to overflow on top of the cylindrical shape, Teeyar spoke up once again. I have an offer. Not the cheapest, all things considered. Lots and lots of factors in there. I think I understand. His ceaseless antagonizing of the merchant was probably one of those mentioned factors. Not like he didn't deserve it. Let me see here. Teeyar delicately picked up the parchment, nodding once as his eyes went over it one more time. As I said, I can offer you a variety of goods that you will be in need of on the road and exploring unknown ruins. You don't have time to make big shopping trips anymore, and it is very likely you are short on supplies like food. Thus, my offer includes rations and water, certain gear for the exploration such as light sources and tools to force open potentially unwalkable passages or bridge gaps. Additionally, I offer my very own cart for transportation, which obviously will increase prices as I need to leave all my wares behind and compensate for the losses that I will incur. You know? Alright. Also, Zhangken grimaced at the word. The flat tone carried an unpleasant energy. He was bracing for whatever the coming proposal would be. What also? Also, I will be joining. I have my doubts that you can actually steer my vehicle well. There are some rumors I heard about the place as well as I would like to investigate. Are you implying grave robbery? I can't let you do that in good conscience. Oh, no, don't you worry your pretty little head about that. Never would I consider taking anything from the ruins. You can do some grave robbing as much as you want. It's not robbery. We return the items we find to those they belong to. Ah, yes, surely you do. When no one can be found, where do those relics of old go then? I doubt the Sovereign himself funds your wondrous expeditions. Store rooms and whatnot that a group of historians keep their things in. That's just slander! That is simply the truth. At least I could find a proper home for any buried treasure. Neither I or Professor Kale will let you take anything. You better understand this. As I said, you have nothing to fear. Well then, my offer stands as it is. I'll be leaving all future profits over here for a very risky venture. Thus the price is high to pay. But it is also the only offer you have. And tell me, little student, how long can you professors afford to walk the distance? Be gone from the academy for months. Not long. The merchant was right. Of course he was. Zhangken knew this very well, so he had to accept. When else would he ever get this opportunity again? I will see to pay the price you demand, then. I doubt the headmasters will be happy with the demand, but it seems to be the only way. Thus we come to an agreement. Happy am I, to have once again made a customer happy. The merchant handed the list over with a dangerous yet generous smile, his tail visibly swishing back and forth. Zhangken gave the list a look over and raised a brow. There is no fodder for any animals listed here. Oh, don't worry about that. Zhangken can only imagine what this meant. Would Teeyar simply abandon the animals and capture new ones on the road? Tall tales of wanderers taming wild deer or horses were not uncommon to read. Were they true? Or did he have another trick up his sleeves? I won't dwell on it, then, he lied. Also, what's with all the ink, and why does it cost so much? Sparkless people have to pay to get certain amounts of ink. Since you might as well be somewhere in the middle of nowhere, I noted down enough of it to last for 3 weeks of constant spark usage. That is still an excessive amount. Lastly, it is only noted here that you will provide light sources. Can you specify what they are? No. Zhangken's patience had reached its limit, but he also didn't dare lash out at the hand that would provide. He simply gave the answer a nod and stored the list securely in his bag. Now, if you would please leave me. If we are able to pull through with this, there is a lot of preparation I have to finish up. Meet me here at the latest on the 6th pollen flight tomorrow. If neither you or any of your companions are here by then, I will simply set out on my travels alone. Right then, I shall keep it in mind. I'll be with you then. Knock on the wood that you may get those funds. Oh, and try to stay dry on your walk back. Though the sound of rain had been a constant companion during their negotiations, Zhangken only now remembered he had to wander through the sky's damn droplets once again to reach the Academy's safe halls. With a sigh, he closed his eye and opened up the tent, keeping it open just a moment longer than usual than intended. He waited for Teeyar to curse the wind and went up the path to the Academy once again. The warm halls of the Academy let Zhangken forget the horrors of water as he could feel his fur dry out in the warm air throughout the halls. He checked himself and his clothes once more. This time he was dripping wet. After closing his eye to take a few calming breaths, he looked around to find any nearby candles illuminating the halls. As he slowly strolled towards the meeting place in the dining hall, his focus fell onto one of the low-hanging candle lights that decorated the halls. With a snap, the fire disappeared, and Zhangken could feel the familiar warmth eat its way towards his chest, then fading away. Still got it then. Alright, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Before I go, I'm going to give a quick shout out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank y'all for all you do for the channel. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Cade Silvermoon. Thank you for going a bit above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. And thank you to our gold tier patron, Amr. You're awesome. We love you. Thank you for subbing to our ultimate tier. Anyway, if y'all want to get your names in the credits, get access to our not safe for work contents as little as $5. Alrighty, I love you all, and I shall see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!